2 150-mile races that will set the starting lineup.
Get ready to roll tonight, boys.
Green flag.
Here we go, boys.
There can't be any mistakes.
Oh! Holy crap. That was just fantastic.
Expect the unexpected. This is one of those nice surprises.
Welcome to the jungle, boys.
Take your right rear. You're good to the bottom. Pulling out of line.
Crossover to the bottom. And he's bringing a lot of company.
Go, 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 go.
Oh, it's exciting, often unpredictable. Duel at Daytona. And race number 1 has rolled off the starting grid. 11 rows deep, half the Daytona 500 field. And this will set the inside lane for the starting lineup for Sunday. Let's go all the way back to row number 7 and visit with a past 500 winner.
Let's dial up old Kurt Busch. How about you, Kurt Busch? It's Boyer up in the Fox Sports booth. You got us?
I got you, Boyer. Vandal with anybody on my radio. Jeez.
I hear you. All right, Cowboy. Risk versus reward. What's your plan here in this duel? All right, you gave me trouble, Kurt. You got to push the button to talk. Push the button to talk. What is your plan for this first duel, Cowboy?
You were in and out, Boyer. I didn't quite hear you. We got our work cut out for us. We're the lone Toyota, but man, we've had a lot of fun with 2311 building this team up during the off season. Monster Energy's been on board. McDonald's got a new guy with money lines. So much fun seeing the power and the energy building up with this team. Now it's race time. This is the fun part. Billy Scott's done a great job to get us to this point.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate your time. We're going to be watching. Looking forward to seeing you move up through the pack. Good luck.
Let's have a look at the starting grid presented by Bluegreen Vacations. Front row, Team Hendrick and Chevrolets for Kyle Larson and William Byron. Row number 2, Chase Elliott, the 2020 Series champ, and Ross Chastain, also in Chevrolets.
Yeah, back in row 3, 99, Daniel Suarez, top 10 in 3 of his 5 dual starts. In the 16, and Daniel Hemrick, the 2021 Xfinity Series champion. Row 4, Ryan Blaney, the 12 car, won the duel in 18 and won here back in August. The 8 car of Tyler Reddick. RCR has 16 duel wins.
Here we go, row number 5, Bad Brad Keselowski in the 6 car. Surprisingly, has never won a duel. And on the outside of him, number 14, Chase Briscoe, 2021 Rookie of the Year. Row 6, Austin Dillon in the 2, the Deuce this year, and Eric Jones in the 43.
Kurt Busch is back in row 7, the only Toyota in this race, along with Justin Haley, who won here in 2019 in July. Cole Custer, the 2020 Rookie of the Year, with rookie contender Todd Gilliland. Fords complete row number 8.
Yeah, back in row number 9, Noah Gragson. He knows he's going to race. He's locked into the 500 at least on speed. And the 77 Landon Castle, his first dual race since 2019.
Hey guys, honestly, these 2 rows, this is where I'm going to be watching this duel. Kaz Growler, the number 50, he's going to be going to the rear, but you've got BJ McLeod in the 78 car. Here's where the juice is. The 55 of JJ Yaley, him and Kaz Growler, that's where the race is in this duel. One of those guys is going home.
Unapproved adjustments on the number 50 send him to the back of the grid. 6 drivers came in here as the opener, non-franchised cars that have to either time in or race in. Noah Gragson and former Indy 500 winner and Formula One champ Jacques Villeneuve, they know they'll be in the Daytona 500. Let's check with Jamie Little.
And one of those drivers was just talked about by Clint Boyer, Kaz Grala. He's trying to make the first start ever for this brand new racing team, the Money Team, co-owned by Floyd Mayweather. I just talked to Kaz before he got in the car. He actually FaceTimed with Floyd on the phone. They want to make this show. He told me basically it's as simple as this. I need to beat the 55 of JJ Yaley. If we can do that, and we feel we could, we're going to make it to the Daytona 500 on Sunday, Regan Smith.
Well, Jamie, from one end of the spectrum, guys trying to make the Daytona 500, to the other end of the spectrum, guys that we would consider the favorites. One of those is Ryan Blaney. The last time we were at Daytona, Ryan got the victory. So good in this 500. 2 runner-up finishes in the Daytona 500. Oh, yeah, by the way, he also has a dual win to go with all that success that he's had. I spoke to crew chief Jonathan Hassler, asked him, what is the plan for tonight? So many guys maybe want to protect, want to make sure that they save their cars for Sunday. He said that is not the case for them. He wants Ryan to be aggressive. He wants him to learn his race car. They want to know every little detail that they can fix to make it better for Sunday so that they can have that shot to finally get one more spot and get Ryan Blaney that win.
Thanks, Regan. As the drivers come down pit road to check their pit road speed against the RPM on their digital tack, we'll take a look at tonight's Ford Performance Track Facts. Ford has won a dual race 4 years in a row. 2018 to 2021. They've won at least one, and in 2019, Logano and Harvick swept the duels. Ross Chastain has our Advent Health onboard camera for duel number 1. And there's Ryan Blaney. He's got our Ford camera on board his number 12. There's the Mahindra Tractors cam riding with Chase Briscoe. The Monster Energy cam with Kurt Busch. Landon Castle with the Fox Nation onboard cam. And Daniel Suarez, Boyer, I know you had something to do with this. The Tootsie's Kid Rocks cam. Where are we going partying tonight?
I want to go to Tootsie's every night. Good time. I got to fix my mess up, Larry. I called Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, and I can't do that.
We knew what you meant.
Got to do better.
We knew what you meant.
Got to do better.
That's opening day.
I was trying to steal Mike's line of the deuce. I had my head wrapped around stealing the old KG Vets line of using the deuce, and I messed it all up.
That's okay. As we get set here in Daytona, the all-new Toyota Camry TRD leads the field.
Really looking forward to this race, guys. These boys, there's a lot of unknowns with this race car. A lot of those drivers were concerned about their handling, a lot of rigidness in their cars, moving around a little bit, and now it's just single file lines. These boys are going to be 2 and 3 wide.
60 laps, and pole sitter Kyle Larson has elected the outside lane for the start. The lead car gets his choice of lane, but there is no choose rule in effect at NASCAR's 2 big super speedways, Daytona and Talladega. Beautiful day here. Still 72 degrees. It got up to 80 this afternoon. Going to be a little cooler for the weekend. Asphalt temp of 77, and the pace car hits pit road. The first of 2 races to set the field for Sunday's Daytona 500 gets the green flag.
Back to the 24 now with you. Still. Now don't get too far. You're doing good here. Still 2 back, 2 out behind you. The one's working the top lane. Still 1.
Unorderly pack. Kaz Grala's in trouble right away. He has kind of lost touch with that group there.
One thing you saw right off the bat, and I kind of anticipated this, was that 5 car obviously going to be on the pole unless something happens right here. Move down in front of his teammate. All 3 Hendrick Motorsports cars probably going to stay there, Larry, until something happens he doesn't like, and then I'd say you'll see that guy get out of Dodge.
Yeah, 12 Chevrolet drivers in this field, 6 of them at the front. I look for all of them to really work together, which would include those 3 Chevrolet drivers from Hendrick.
Leading a lap in the duel for the first time is Kyle Larson. He has never previously led. And let me correct, it's Noah Gragson who has lost touch with the pack, not Kaz Grala, who's up there in 15th place.
But he knows he's going to race on Sunday.
Gragson does, yes. He is locked in on speed. That is their only car. They don't have a backup, so he is staying out of harm's way. There's Grala on the left of your screen. If there was an award for graphic schemes this week, it would already have been decided in favor of number 50. Up front, the Hendrick cars, 1, 2, 3 on the inside.
You see that red number 14 Ford in the outside, Chase Briscoe. Felt like he would have run a little faster last night, Clint, but he could not get it in 5th gear going down the back straightaway and had to keep working the throttle on his get up to speed lap.
I can understand that. These things were 4-speed forever. Maybe he forgot about the old overdrive. 5th gear this year, a lot different.
Now on our scoring pylon, noted in red are the 2 drivers trying to race their way in. One of them will be in the Daytona 500, and the other will head home after tonight, as many have before. Little bump draft there. Off into turn 3.
I saw that in both lanes. Actually, you saw Chase Elliott right on the back bumper of William Byron, and the same thing with Reddick and Chastain on the outside. I think you're going to see a lot of that with this car. Guys are able to bump draft. The thing wants to pull up to the bumper of that car in front of them. That momentum, and really when it comes down to push the show up.
You know, Regan Smith talked about Ryan Blaney in that 12 being aggressive. Those 2 drivers in the outside, Ross Chastain in the 1, Tyler Reddick in 8, you never have to worry about are they being aggressive. They will be on it every single lap.
I think everybody's minding their P's and Q's right now. And really what I look for these guys to do, as soon as these things start sorting it out, is finding their allies, right? Their teammates, their manufacturer teammates. That's what we're going to see pretty short.
It's a 13-car breakaway at the front of the pack, and then a single file group of 3, a group of 4, and then Gregson out back.
And the thing about all those packs, they're running just as quick as that lead pack now that they've got organized.
That was part of NASCAR's hope in developing this 7th generation NASCAR Cup car, is to bring things more into parity. And judging from qualifying last night, so far, mission accomplished.
And I know it's a completely different style of racing, Larry, but I was pleasantly surprised at what I saw out there in LA at the Clash. Saw a lot of parity, a lot of cars that you're just not accustomed to seeing up front. Was really, really strong on the speed and everything they had going on short track. So hats off so far to the program of this car.
We saw that in qualifying last night. I've never seen qualifying at Daytona so tight.
Never seen that tight anywhere.
5 of 60 laps complete. And let's have a look at our drivers trying to race their way in. Kaz Grala in 14th place. J.J. Yaley, who did not have great speed in qualifying, they're in 19th.
But I will say, if I'm J.J. Yaley, I'm a little bit concerned because I only have 1 car behind me. The only thing you don't want to do right here this early is lose that draft and be completely down and out. If these guys start pitting or something else, that can really throw you out of the race with this thing. So you want to keep that guy in obviously in view, but more importantly, I'd like to keep him within reachable distance, always.
3, now 4 cars edging ahead of that double file group. Daniel Suarez 4th in line, gave Chase Elliott in 3rd. A good bump there going off into turn number 3, and it gave them a little separation on that double wide pack. Let's have a look here. That's the visor cam on Daniel Suarez.
He actually hit him enough that I think his helmet, you saw his helmet move. So that's a pretty good shot. Now these cars, both front and rear, have a foam behind the bumpers. And all the drivers have been telling me, guys, that it's soft. You can't feel that as much as you used to with the old cars because it was pretty much solid frame to frame. Now they have a little bit of a cushion.
So now the field is single file. Part of the effect of that little bump draft was to separate the first 4 or 5 cars. The next 9 quickly got in single file line.
Yeah, and to your point, up until that outside line, they were maintaining. But after that group got that a little bit of a run, they had no choice but to fall back in and form single file.
Clint, one big question with this new car is, will there be a side draft? Can you get up against somebody, take the air off their rear spoiler, get that side suck and pull ahead?
Well, this is honestly the first time that I feel like anybody, us included, watching is going to be able to experience that. I know you're getting single file, but that's always, we've seen that. That's standard practice for here. I wouldn't be surprised if Larson doesn't bring this group to the outside, which we've all seen before, right around there and log laps. It's 60 laps in this race. Got to log some laps and get to the end of this thing. The other thing is, you know, there's so many different variables that I'm interested in. You know, can you push? Can you just sit there right on their bumper without overheating? You know, those are all things back, you know, with the old car that you had to keep in mind. Yes, you could be up there bump drafted, but you couldn't do it forever because that thing would get hot.
8 laps complete. The defending series champ, Kyle Larson, has led them all. "11 green flag laps complete. Tonight's aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. With you for every mile on the road to greatness. Goodyear, more driven." There's that 13-car fast freight past the start-finish line to complete 12 and head off toward turn number 1.
You know, Mike and Clint, watching Kyle Larson in that 5-car lead this race, he has 16 Cup wins now, all at 16 different tracks. But he's 0 for 29 as far as even a top 5 finish on a super speedway as far as Daytona, Talladega.
Now, Kaz Grala, when we went to break, had 5 positions on J.J. Yaley. Grala has now dropped back in his number 50. He and Yaley's 55 are just 1 car apart.
Took the words right out of my mouth. And more importantly, that group went around him and put him to the back of that group. Very important to stick with that group, because if he doesn't, he's going to be singled out and go right back there to J.J. Yaley, which is the guy that he has to outrun.
All right, let's move up to position number 6 and car number 6, the new ride for Brad Keselowski for 2022. Jamie?
Well, Mike, you talked about the field being nose to tail. I was just listening to Brad Keselowski, who's gained 3 positions so far. He said, I really want to try some things here, but if we try it and it doesn't work, we'll lose 5 or 6 spots. So a lot of that give or take going on in these drivers' minds. They're all so eager right now to see what their car can do. They're hard right now, sitting still where he is.
How do you feel if you're Brad Keselowski, you look in the rearview mirror and there's the car you drove last year?
Kind of odd. But I tell you what, Bad Brad can get it done on a track like this.
Yep.
And one thing that I've been watching with him and his two old teammates right there, all those Fords are able to really pull up very fast. So I know when the time's right, these cars are capable of pouncing, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
12 Chevrolets, 7 Fords, and Kurt Busch's Toyota.
You know, one thing we've been noticing, the exhaust glowing on these race cars, and the biggest reason that it's doing that, you see how short they are. They dump out just behind the front tires, and so you're seeing that glow. If you go back to the old car, you would see the glow underneath the car, but it stopped. It wouldn't do it where it would exit out.
That's because it's got a fire-breathing dragon under the hood, Larry. And it looks cool, right? And
each bank of cylinders exits out its own side of the car.
Yes.
Which gives it that distinct sound. I love the rumble, the roar of these cars, and it's because of that pipes coming out both sides of it.
Regan?
Well, Mike, we're finally to that part of the run where the drivers get to tell the crew chiefs how their cars are doing. The tires are starting to wear. They're starting to get a better feel for things. Take a listen to what your leader, Kyle Larson, had to say about his car.
Balance okay so far?
Yeah, he got a little bit light. Into one time, but he was such a deep. But other than that, fine. Putting it on my back bumper.
Good for it.
I think one thing Kyle Larson does not want to do is lead this entire race, because when you're the lead dog, what can you learn?
I don't care. Kyle Larson, he wants to lead every lap, and he usually is pretty accustomed to that from what I can tell. Doesn't matter what the kid's in.
Larry, help me.
Well, I remember 1998 with Dale Earnhardt. Every practice, he'd do exactly what Kyle Larson is doing right there. I finally said, Dale, how about if we get in the back of the pack a little bit and see what we got? He said, I don't plan on being there on Sunday.
All right, you win.
But I will say this, what that kid said, you heard him say it feels a little light. When as soon as Willie B got to his bumper, the thing got light on its rear feet, and that means it got loose. That is something that you do not want to feel. It goes back to this conversation we're talking about. You want to put your car in those scenarios. That's when you don't want to feel, Larry. I don't want that thing loose. I want it stuck to the ground all the time, no matter who's on my rear bumper.
And I think from a crew chief standpoint, I talked about not having many pages in the notebook. What adjustments do I need to make to don't hurt the car, but try to help it?
Now, Keselowski has gained a few positions back. He jumped up to 15th in that number 50, now 16th in the middle of that second pack. They're racing back there, and for that number 50 car, it's a matter of whether or not he races his way into the Daytona 500. He is now 16th. J.J. Yaley in the 55 in 19th.
And really, these guys are just hurting themselves. Running door to door like this, side by side, that just slows your whole pack down. They need to get that sorted out. Probably more than likely, they're trying to figure out who leads faster than another car. But more importantly, they need to get single file, and they should be able to pull up to the line in front of them.
Well, yeah, Kaz Grala's last lap time was a 48.39. J.J. Yaley just ran a 49.79. He's losing over a second a lap.
They're good and back in line.
Justin Haley right there in the 31. Had a bad crash at the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum. Kyle Larson sent him into the inside barrier. And Larson said on media day, he said, I overreacted. I did not mean to wreck him, but I wanted the inside lane into that next corner.
Well, the other thing that I think was going on there is it really wasn't him, right? He got pushed into Kyle, obviously upset Kyle. He went down and made a move on him that I don't think he realized the full story. But we saw a lot of that going on such a short racetrack.
Right.
And, man, that's what I came there for. That was action-packed all the way through.
Noah Gragson will go a lap down. Remember, he was the fastest of the non-charter cars at that Beard Motorsports number 62. So he will be in the Daytona 500 regardless of where he finishes this 150-miler.
And remember, he missed the 500 a year ago.
Car formerly driven by Brendan Gaughan.
I would look to hear some of these guys actually lift and probably run and just part throttle 50% or something, saving some fuel for the end of this thing. Obviously 60 laps, we know, Larry, that window, the fuel window that they're capable of going wide open somewhere around 38 to 40.
Yeah, 38 to 42 laps, and just talking to some crew chiefs and competition directors right before I came up here, it sounds like they may go somewhere around lap 35 if we indeed stay green.
And you can see it right there in Ross Chastain. You're only about part throttle, maybe 40% at times. Just doing whatever you can do to stay in that buffer, stay in that draft, but save as much fuel as you can.
And compared to last night's qualifying, the difference of being in the draft is about 500 RPM higher in a group like this.
Whereas, you know, Kyle Larson's out there, and probably all three of those Hendrick cars leading this brigade, they're going to be pretty much wide open.
And about 8 to 10 miles per hour in gain as well.
Why is it always full moon race week in Daytona? That's a short track superstition is full moon Saturday night's mayhem. But it's not Saturday night. And we're on a super speedway, not a short track, so pay that no mind. Kyle Larson for Rick Hendrick and Chevrolet have led all 21 laps so far. Welcome back to the Blue-Green Vacations Duel on FS1. 3 Hendrick Chevys continue to lead, and the last 3 duels that were won from the pole were all done by Hendrick drivers. Chase Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon did it. Now, back at the transfer spot, Kaz Grala has lost the draft of that second pack. He is running by himself, lapping at about 51 seconds. J.J.
Get some help
Yaley,
here somehow. They're a second a lap quicker than us right now.
that is Grala's problem. J.J. Yaley has help from B.J. McLeod, and those two are faster than Grala by himself. This is going to be a horse race.
Worst case scenario by far for Kaz Grala. This is exactly what I was talking about. When those cars got side by side, you absolutely do not want to lose the draft. One thing that he isn't the only one. I just watched Cole Custer do the same exact thing.
Well, Kurt Busch told you he was coming to the front, and here he is leading a group on the outside and up at least momentarily to 5th place alongside Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, Ross Chastain in that one had jumped up there, and that's when Kurt Busch in the 45 decided to go up top as well. Now, Eric Jones in the 43 was with them, and he went back down to the bottom.
But another thing, if I'm Kurt Busch, again, we talked about this at the top of the show. I want to go out there, put myself and my car in some scenarios that I need to know for the Daytona 500. One of those scenarios that Kurt Busch has is a new voice in his ear, a new spotter. He's not the only one. William Byron, Austin Cindric, working with new spotters this year. So important to have that communication down pat, especially for the big dance on Sunday.
You know, let's set the stage here. As we said at the top of the show, you have to make it at least one pit stop. Now, we're in the window, should we get a caution, that you could make it the rest of the way. I get a feeling they're going to probably run another 8 to 10 laps. Green flag pit stop. We talked about the pit crews. Kevin Harvick, this will be his 21st Daytona 500 on Sunday. He said this car is so different getting on the pit road with the brake package and all. So could we see mistakes if we get into this green flag pit stop?
Man, you hope so. If you're Kaz Grala right now, you hope a mistake is made and that caution comes out. Needs a caution in a big way.
Grala is by himself, 26 seconds off the lead, but 11 seconds ahead of the drafting duo of J.J. Yeley and B.J. McLeod. Teammates Ross Chastain and Kurt Busch were working together on the outside, trying to gain some ground, but ended up 7th and 9th for the moment. There's the duo chasing Kaz Grala. And they're gaining, but fractionally, about half a second a lap.
That's something to pay attention to. As I said, Kaz Grala wasn't the only one. I saw Cole Custer do the same thing. As soon as those cars, they were side by side, as soon as they went single file, he was spit out just a little bit too long on the outside. Away they drove off from him. Gonna have to be very careful as a race car driver not to allow that to happen.
You see on our pylon that Cole Custer in 17th has also lost touch with the lead pack by about 10 seconds. Green flag all the way so far, 29 laps complete, halfway this time by.
You know, Mike, we've seen issues also just drivers trying to get in a position to get on pit road on green. In fact, our first caution in Duel 2 last year was due to Chase Briscoe misjudging where he was trying to get down on the pit road under green.
Clint, what happens when the leaders catch that duo of Yeley and McLeod? Will they be able to tack on, I wonder?
Well, that's the hope, right? That's the plan. You need to, as they're going by you, try to side draft off of them as much as possible, gain some momentum there, and man, as soon as they go by, get in that draft.
Jamie?
Tony Eury Jr. is on the pit box for Kaz Grala in the 50. They're keeping him very calm. They're calm on the radio. They said, don't worry, just hang in there, keep doing what you're doing. He keeps telling them he is wide open. It's all he has. They said, wait till we pit. We'll get some help then.
It's the only card you got, right, Larry? Keep him calm down. That's probably easier said than done.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge, just finding someone when you do make the pit stop to get with when you leave pit road, because you're out there by yourself entering pit road. What makes you think you're going to be with someone leaving pit road?
At the prom and no date.
Here come the leaders. On Yeley and McLeod, that may give them a bit of a boost trying to catch Kaz Grala.
It will. There's no question it will. As soon as that pack goes by them, they're going to fall in line and get that draft, get that toe off of them, which will make that gap narrow up even more.
So, Larry, we go another 12 green flag laps. You're going to have to be on pit road.
Yes, when we get up near around, we're at lap 31 right now. We can probably run another 10 to 12 laps. To your point, I think the guys that are back in the draft, they're getting better fuel mileage right now, but Kyle Larson, he's wide open all the way around this racetrack. Then I think there's the question, and this is where they have to sync up together, Mike. Do we do 4 tires or do we just do 2? I think we may see a lot of them just go with right side only.
Starting to see some moves right there. Saw Blaney make a move off of a push from Keselowski, went by, split up that 3-car team of Henry.
2 cars dropping back top outside of you now.
William Byron drops to 6th in the 24. And traffic ahead. Regan?
Well, Mike, as we see the action on the racetrack, let's not forget about the action that's about to happen on pit road. The crews are starting to stretch. This will be the first time we see pit crews hit one mucked up pit stops, something completely different. So some butterflies for these guys down on pit road for the first time in a long time.
Now there's the duo of Yeley and McLeod going a lap down. They're not going to be able to tuck into that inside line. Going to get a little help from Byron there just for the moment. But if they can latch onto that draft, that will help them gain on Kaz Grala.
Everybody's still single file here.
Now McLeod is locked into the race. He's one of the charter teams. He is in the position of being able to help Yaley. They are a couple of Fords. If they can catch Kaz Grala's Chevrolet, well, then it's on for the final spot in the Daytona 500.
Well, they're gonna pick up in a big way with this pull off that draft.
There's Grala in the number 50, lone soldier, and here come the leaders.
And honestly, when they go by him, I don't think he's going to be able to latch on to him. I mean, he has no momentum right now.
Won't latch on to even them.
Grala's last lap 51:23. The leader was 48 seconds. Still no action on pit road as we come to 34 laps. And here's where Kaz Grala from Boston, Mass. goes a lap down.
Clint, you talked about all these new spotters. I guarantee you there's a lot of bargaining going on right now up on that spotter stand about when are you coming, are we going to pit together, and what we're going to do.
There's the difference, 12 miles per hour. The leader to Grala. Now he's going to have to try and tuck in right behind this group and gain a bit of a tow. Oh, Austin Cindric to the outside.
Well, if he jumped to the outside, Austin Cindric's definitely not coming to pit road this time.
And Grala did not catch a tow from that lead pack. Here come the Chevrolets to pit road. Much bigger brakes on this Gen 7 car. Later braking down to pit road speed. Jamie.
And a nice countdown for William Byron as he makes his way down with all of his teammates. What a night they had last night. The power. It was a big night for Hendrick Motorsports. The 24 is in his box. His team over the wall. They've been practicing this for over a year. Nice work so far. Regan, we'll go to you.
Well, Chase Elliott with his race car right now just a little bit tight. Worried it might get tighter, so a small adjustment for that. And your leader is Kyle Larson. That race car good, other than when cars are pushing him.
Kaz Grala pitted with the Chevrolets, but does not gain a tow coming off pit road. Here are the Fords coming to pit.
We had a mixed agenda right there. Looked like Kurt Busch and Tyler Reddick went with right side tires only. A lot of the other Chevys, Jamie, went with 4 tires.
Remember, Brad Keselowski in the number 6 as the number 2. His old team comes right around in front of him there. Austin Cindric saying he's just a bit tight off of turn 4. It'll be right sides for him. We'll go to Regan with his teammate.
Well, Ryan Blaney, a nice move forward in the field. That race car right now, a little bit of a 4-wheel drift off the corners. That means it wants to slide up off the bottom of the racetrack just a little bit.
Kaz Grala, too fast, exiting pit road. The speeding police have nabbed him.
Oh no!
That
keeps getting worse.
Pass-through penalty at pit road speed.
Not good. I tell you one thing I did see and notice right here from the windshield dyno is those boys are able to come into the pits way harder than they used to be able to. Diving in there, I just knew Ryan Blaney in that 12 car was speeding, and I think he made it. Haven't heard in my ear yet.
Nope. There's Grala serving the penalty. Bigger tires, 18-inch wheels instead of 15s. Much bigger brakes on this new car.
I don't think Kyle Larson was wanting to go that fast. Chase Elliott had a little bit better feel of pit road speed. When you're leading, the only thing you don't want to do is throw it away on pit road.
Yeah, Mike, 30% more braking is what they actually have.
Seems like that's about how much more tire they have too, right?
Yeah.
Cole Custer comes to pit road, and that will complete the stops, but for Noah Gragson. So after pit stops, the Fords are out front. Blaney, Keselowski, Briscoe, and Cindric.
A little more efficient.
Larry, did you need 4 tires, or do you want to see how those tires are wearing? Why'd you change 4?
Well, for handling, but I think what was the right move was exactly what Kurt Busch in that 45 and Tyler Reddick in the 8. They're right behind these 4 Fords. They went with just right side tires.
Brad Keselowski as well.
That's what I think all these Fords do, and you see all 6 of them. I guarantee you, for a little bit, they're content to run right there.
Brad stop and those big 18-inch center lock wheels, BBS forged wheels, as required by NASCAR for all these cars. That one lug nut comes off the car and stays in the socket of the air gun.
Doesn't look near as busy as they used to be, does it?
Well, no more lug nuts spit out from tires on acceleration. No more loose lug nut penalties.
Yeah, right now changing 4 tires for the fuel without considering the fuel should be somewhere around 9 to 10 seconds for 4 tires.
Wow. Ryan Blaney, only the second leader of this race after Kyle Larson was out front for 34 laps. Blaney has led the last 5 as we take you Fox side by side.
Down here on the grid. Right now I'm standing by the 99 of Daniel Suarez in Backhouse Racing. All is going to plan for this team, keeping a clean race car and running in line with the Chevys. Brought it in with about 25 laps to go. Standard pit stop, 4 tires and fuel. Priority for tonight's race though, keep a clean race car. I'll keep you updated, race fans. Enjoy the duels. Good work, team.
$18 laps to go in the first 150-miler, first of 2 here tonight to set the field for the Daytona 500. The first 4 Fords each took 2 tires, as did Reddick and Kurt Busch. But that's not the whole story. Look at getting onto pit road, comparing Blaney's Ford with Kyle Larson's Chevrolet. At different times, of course.
And you heard me say it. I thought he came on so fast right there at the line. I was like, man, I don't know if he got stopped. He may have been speeding on pit road, but way more efficient. Kind of in the last probably maybe 100 feet right there is where he beat him.
And then you add in the difference of the 5 going with 4 tires, the 12 going with 2. That's the reason you have that distance on the racetrack right now.
And they're laying some lap times down. Again, efficiency. They're faster than those Chevrolets are catching them. They're running in the 90s, and those boys back there running in the 30s. In the wrong digit, right? 47.90 to 48.30 on Larson in the 5. They're in trouble.
Let's go back 2 laps ago. Brad Keselowski trying to send Ryan Blaney forward. I think there's as much lateral as forward motion there.
Glad he's got those light colored gloves on. You can see him in there working the wheel. But honestly, that's why they're driving off from them Chevrolets. They're pushing harder and doing a better job of drafting.
Kurt Busch has dropped 3 spots, and we listened in.
Stay attached. All right, they're gone. How many laps to go? Need more than 3 cars. Copy. Kurt in line with them. Got to stay lined up.
That's new communication. We said it, you know, a new spotter driver. That's what this race, you know, obviously you're here to win this duel. It's a big deal to win the duel, but this is the only true practice session in a massive draft like you're going to see on Sunday in the Daytona 500, and those guys need to know that. Make those mistakes now so you don't make it on Sunday.
Ryan Blaney out in front now for 10 laps. He's finished top 10 in 5 of his 7 Daytona duels, including winning his in 2018. He got the checkered flag here in the 400-miler last August.
I want to go back to what I just said, though. I've watched these guys, numerous guys, lose the draft. That's something that you never really had to worry about too much with that old car, looking over your shoulder thinking, man, do I have enough help behind me? Cannot lose this draft. I've watched multiple cars already in his first draft. That's something that all these guys have to pay attention to.
But I got to give credit to the Ford teams for all being on the same page of coming together as they did, all going with those 2 tires. And then Tyler Reddick, Richard Childress Racing, they really pay a lot of attention to analytics. And they went with 2 tires when most of all the other Chevrolets went with 4 tires.
Yeah, they were the first one to really come up with a war room, so to speak, where they do all of that, pay attention to that, have a team all the way back home in Welcome, North Carolina that pay attention closely to all those calls.
That gap is 4.8 seconds from Reddick in 5th to Elliott in 6th. At the transfer spot, J.J. Yaley has it because Kaz Grala had to take that speeding penalty down pit road. Yaley 1 lap down, Grala 2 laps back, and Noah Gregson 2 laps back as well. So as things stand right now with 14 to go, J.J. Yaley in position to make the Daytona 500.
Yeah, Mike, even if the caution comes out right now, Cole Custer would get the free pass, so it really would not do anything for Yaley or Grala. They'd still be 1 and 2 laps down.
Tough situation. Got behind right there, trying to make up, doing the best you can do on pit road. Got caught speeding on pit road, and it's really going to cost them. Needs something to happen here, a caution, something to give them new life.
Right now, the lap times from that lead group to the second group back there, it almost mirrors one another. They're not gaining, they're not losing.
The drivers have this digital dash. Everything there is computer controlled. And the reason Kaz Grala had to start this race in the rear was an unapproved adjustment. They had to repair or change out the dash. Now, that may or may not have had something to do with him exceeding the speed limit on pit road.
Oh, man. Sure hope not.
Yeah, because you heard him giving RPM, I think it was Kurt Busch, 4,500, but really they go by the lights on the digital dash,
It's
green
still,
and red lights.
Larry, I always wanted to know the number, though, because that was your first one, right? That was your first focal mark. All right, I get to the 4,500. Now I'm going to go to my lights and fine-tune that 4,500. But I wanted to see that 45, whatever that number was, that's what my first focal point and focus was.
So here's what's at stake for these cars up front. If Ryan Blaney wins this 150, he will start the 500 on the second row on the inside, and he'll be the 3rd driver to pick his pit position. For Brad Keselowski, he would start on the inside of the 3rd row. Hold on. And he'd be the 5th driver to pick his pit. So each position is important if you can gain one.
Boys, he don't like that. I can tell you right now, that's moving that car around quite a bit. You can hear the RPM change. That baby's singing a good note as soon as he pushes him, but it is also throwing the rear end of that car all over the place.
And my biggest takeaway, Ryan Blaney didn't blink the whole time we were looking at him.
He didn't breathe either.
Brad Keselowski, the Daytona 500 will be his first points race for his new team. And I say his because he is now a co-owner with Jack Roush and the Fenway Sports Group in what's now RFK Racing, the number 6 and 17. After missing the Busch Light Clash feature. 3rd place, Chase Briscoe for Stewart Haas. 4 Fords up front, Briscoe in 3rd.
We're 2 laps to good on fuel. Fuel. He doesn't know if he has enough to finish it. 10-4. He started to check it up the last couple laps. Stay with the 6 and 12. I mean, the Chevys were a little bit quicker than us that lap, but they're still 5 seconds back.
We're going to hear a lot of this year because it takes so much longer to put fuel in than it does to change tires. They go with 2 tires. They're almost just kind of making a guesstimate about how much fuel they needed to dump in it when they roam pit road.
And I like his situation. If I'm Chase Briscoe, I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. You know, Brad Keselowski, that's his old team in front of him. Don't you think for a minute that that cagey old veteran doesn't want to beat his old team and outduel them in this first duel?
Larry, you got engineers, you got strategists, you got a war room, and you're going to go with a guesstimate?
But you got a crew chief going, go, 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 go.
Oh, that too.
Which one is it, Larry? You want me to go or save you fuel? But what I'm saying is, you know Brad Keselowski's going to make a move at the end of this race. And when he does, that's your opportunity to put him 3 wide, make a move yourself, and take advantage of those cars side by side. Flip side of that, you can see Blaney looking in the mirror. If you're Blaney, you're going to try to figure out when and where he's going to do it and make that block.
These new cars have rack and pinion steering instead of the old recirculating ball steering box and idler arms and everything. It's much more efficient, and look at how much less the driver has to turn that wheel to make things happen.
I actually called Kevin Harvick today and picked his brain. I wanted to know what that felt like, some differences maybe that they can change or anything else. They can actually change the tension, the heaviness of the wheel, if you will. He felt like he had a really soft wheel, was able to move the wheel a lot. The car, the way they're dancing around, he was wondering if he maybe wanted to tighten that up a little bit, helps calm that wheel down a little bit. Something that you can do with this thing. I like that move, and also you can speed it up and slow it down. I would think for this type of racing, when you see that thing dancing around, probably want to slow kind of, you know, steering and slow everything down. Be calm, not be all over the place. You don't want to overcorrect in that scenario.
See, Tyler Reddick in that 8 car, he lost the lead draft, and now he's fallen back into the group of Chevrolet drivers back there, 4th in line.
And that whole separation is due to the pit stop. The Ford drivers took 2 tires. Most of the Chevrolet drivers took 4. And the difference, 4.6 seconds from one group to the other.
It's always why I wanted to be in that second duel, because I know what I'm planning on right now for duel number 2. 2 tires.
You wanted the easy answer. Plain and simple, outfoxing tonight, boys. Never know, though. One caution could change it all. Then you want those 4 tires. Not that I'm asking for a caution or anything. Wishing, dreaming.
Look at that front splitter on that car, just how that thing is just glued, almost stuck to the racetrack. And in the rear, that diffuser below the bumper. I'm hearing that's where all the speed is. If you're going to gain some advantage, it's what you do in managing the air under the car that affects it as much or more as the air flowing over the car.
No question. That's why we see different heights on that front splitter. Paul Wolf, Joey Logano's crew chief, said I can change the balance of this car by how much air I let under it because of the flat bottom car getting it to that diffuser.
Not seeing these cars bounce around, Larry, near as much as we saw in qualifying last night. Some of the adjustments, the dampening and things like that in these cars, they can adjust that going into this race, correct?
Even on an impound, they can definitely take some of the aggressiveness out of the shocks and things.
Which all plays a role. The reason you want that rigid to keep that height, right? You want to keep that right down on the track exactly where you want it. Keep that thing very, very rigid. Now you can come off of that a little bit, give up some flex in the car, smooth.
Now, if these drivers stay single file, oh, never mind. Here comes Keselowski.
Man, that's a little earlier than I was expecting right there, Larry.
Yeah, and Chase Briscoe in the 14 goes with him, but you see Austin Cindric in the 2. He stays with his teammate Blaney in the 12.
All this is going to do one thing. Bring that pack of Chevrolets closer to them.
Sure is. So
that difference down to 4.2.
We'll be coming to 3 to go this next time by.
Brad is a very smart plate racer, but if it was me, I probably would have waited just a little bit longer. Now, who's in the catbird seat? Is it him from ranking that big block at the end of this thing, or is it the cat behind him, Chase Briscoe?
He'll even get a little bit of help off those cars that they're running up on right now.
Lap cars ahead. Custer, Yaley, and McLeod will go 2 laps down.
The other thing that did right there is pair up those teammates, Ryan Blaney and Austin Cindric.
Ooh. That was Blaney to the inside of the 14, and he shuffles Chase Briscoe using those lap cars as a pick.
Exactly what I was talking about. Now, when you're Brad Keselowski, you're looking in the mirror, you have Blaney, which I already thought was extremely fast, but not only that, you got his teammate pushing him.
Austin Cindric, the rookie, in the 2, lined up on Ryan Blaney. And losing touch with that trio is Briscoe.
Gonna have a decision on your hands. You're gonna have to make a big block right here. Very aggressive if you're Brad.
2 to go. Brad Keselowski has never won a duel at Daytona.
And this would be a big deal for RFK Racing, even just being a dual race, no question.
Lapping Noah Gragson, who is locked into the 500 on speed.
It's exactly why Jack Roush and everybody made this move. Brad, everybody involved with RFK, this is exactly why you made that move, to have this opportunity, put that guy behind the wheel.
Blaney with a bump into 3.
And Blaney's saying, remember me, I'm the guy that was in front a while ago.
Coming to the white.
See how you like it.
I don't know if anybody blocks any better, though, than Brad Keselowski.
No.
4 cars trying to play capture the flag. The white flag waves, 1 to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
He's pushing him out there and getting away from his teammate. I don't know that I would have probably done that if I'm Ryan Blaney. I need that teammate. Probably get away. And that may be what he was doing right there. Push him out, drag back, but you can already see Brad seeing that in the mirror.
Cindric to the bottom. Whoa!
That is not at all what I thought was going to happen.
The rookie, Austin Cindric,
thought was going to happen.
And Xfinity champ sends Blaney back to 4th. Now Cindric gets a bump from the 14 at
It's going to be off of 4 right here. You're going to have to. Well,
Keselowski by himself, double wide behind him, and Brad Keselowski gets his first dual win, 3 wide for 2nd. Austin Cindric over Blaney and Briscoe.
Greed got in the way there, boys. Nobody wanted to go by Keselowski. That was the best case scenario for Brad. Didn't have to block anybody.
And we will go back and check, but you saw the leaders lap Yaley and McLeod. That put them on the same lap as Kaz Gralla. And on the final lap, Gralla may have beat Yaley to the line. Now he's asking the same thing we are.
You're in.
You have got to be kidding
that?
me. Right at the end of the race. The money team. Does that mean Mayweather's coming? I want to see.
But thank God.
Whew.
So there's Gralla, second to last car in that group. The 55 on the outside is Yaley in turns 3 and 4. Gralla makes the pass on Yaley, who had no drafting partner. And Kaz Gralla will race in the Daytona 500.
Wow, after all of that, the mistake on pit road, thinking you're down and out, to have that happen right on the last lap. Who would have ever thought that could happen?
Classic case, never give up.
It is awesome, baby.
Yes, a lot of happy celebrating faces there. Kaz Gralla races in. Jack Roush and his number 6 and the rest of his team have only 1 prior dual win. In 2012, Matt Kenseth won his dual race, went on to win the Daytona 500 that year.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's how we do it. Let's go.
I think this will be a mild celebration.
Oh,
this is the Daytona 500 car.
Yeah, there will be no big burnouts because this car, what about this engine, Larry?
You've got the engine you're going to race on Sunday. You've got the car. We just saw a crew member there, or RFK Racing, Matt McCall. Matt McCall was Kurt Busch's crew chief. And when I heard of that pairing, I said, I think that has a ton of potential, Brad Keselowski and Matt McCall.
Now this is a Keselowski signature move. After every one of his victories, he wants to wave not the checkered flag, but the American flag. Well, the team owner can't tell him don't burn it down because that would be Brad.
I'm so happy for Brad. couple weeks ago, go out this first outing ever. Unfortunately, didn't have a good showing out there in LA at the Clash. Now comes to Daytona, where it's all about all the marbles, and wins the first duel for the Daytona 500. Congratulations, Brad. That's not a very good, that's that mild burnout, what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's one of those see you Sunday burnouts. That's okay.
You know what, Mike? He said it was a little scary and bittersweet to leave Penske, but he said, you know what? If your dreams don't scare you, your dream's probably not big enough.
That's right. His dad and his hero passed away in the offseason, and I know that weighs heavily on Brad, whose dad, a great racer in his own right, was a huge influence on this young man. But he has a vision of what he can do with RFK Racing, and there is the sticker honoring Brad's father as he climbs out a winner in the Blue-Green Duel at Daytona. Regan?
Well, Brad Keselowski hops out, his signature American flag victory celebration. We'll give Brad a second to get his helmet off here. Brad, you made some big changes during the offseason. Took a big chance coming over, becoming an owner at Roush Keselowski Fenway Racing, and looks like it's paid off so far. A great start to Speed Weeks for you.
Yeah, it sure is. I felt pretty good about our car, you know, in practice on Tuesday, Regan, and I got to give credit to the other Fords. We worked really well together. Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe. We had great strategy, Austin Cindric, and we stuck together and we drove away and got ourselves in position where we could control the finish of this race, and I'm happy to see all those Fords up front. Good job to all those guys, but great start for our Kohler Generators Ford team. This is special.
All smiles down here. Brad Keselowski, winner of duel number 1.
He'll have a second row start on Sunday. Kaz Grala will race in the Daytona 500 after a last lap move. We'll hear from him next. To make the Daytona 500. Jamie.
Kaz Grala, I think he has a bigger cheering section here than any other driver. Hugs all around. You are in the Daytona 500. How did you make it happen after all of that on the last lap?
I made it happen not the way I wanted to. I made a mistake. I sped on pit road, and I thought we were out of it. But I wasn't going to give up no matter what. And we got into a little line there with Kurt Busch pushing us, and we were running fast lap times, and I was hoping the timing was going to work out. It wasn't by much, but it did. We caught them in 1 and 2 on the very last lap and was able to get by the 55 for it. So pulled a couple years off my life, but it doesn't matter because we're going to be out there on Sunday, and we got a shot to win the Daytona 500. We all do, all 40 of us. So I'm really grateful. I'm excited for the Money Team Racing. Floyd Mayweather's car is going to be out there making its debut, and I'm really, really grateful to be the one holding the wheel. So we're going to have fun. This is going to be a fun ride together all year with them, and I can't wait to get it started.
Kaz, at 23 years old, what is this moment like? I mean, you took a risk. You're jumping in a race car. It's never been on the track before. This team's never run a race before. What is that like?
I mean, it's stressful, and with it being a new team, there were a lot of things that had to be done from scratch. You know, the administration of being here, the entry blanks, getting everything inside the car that I need for cooling so I stay cool in there. I mean, equipment, you name it, and we've had to start from scratch in the last 33, 35 days. And we somehow came out here, we built a car, and we made the Daytona 500. That's freaking cool, no matter who you are. So this is really big for us. I'm excited for everybody on the team, and we're going to celebrate tonight.
Floyd Mayweather is a winner. He was on FaceTime. I think he better be here on Sunday. Floyd, you're in the show.
You're right, Jamie. Brad Keselowski puts car number 6 into Duel victory lane for only the second time ever. Pete Hamilton did it in 1971.